Today's WNEM TV5 Morning Extra is brought to you by Roof Max of Midland.
Thanks so much for tuning in to TV5 Morning Extra. I'm Christine Winter. Let's check in now with First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips. It is a chilly start to the day with some wind.
It is still windy outside, and we were hoping to kind of have these winds settle down a little bit, which they have compared to yesterday, but they are still elevated. Yesterday, we had 40, 50, and even a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust reported in Port Hope. We are waking up to our wind gusts this morning that are still around 25, even getting towards 30 miles per hour. We had a gust in Saginaw around 31, 27 in Flint, 29 in Carroll, and check out that 41 still being recorded in Port Hope. So those west-northwesterly winds adding an extra chill to the air and still some lake effect. Your pinpoint Doppler showing these snow showers across Roscommon and Ogama counties. It's almost like a snow shower sandwich, because then as we travel south along M57 and kind of closer towards I-69, even into Flint, we are picking up on some snow bands. So we have been seeing some flurries on our camera in downtown. A little bit of a void though on that snow, kind of lining up right with Saginaw Bay. Our temperatures, those are currently into the upper teens and some lower 20s, and we are finding our feels like temperatures though quite a bit cooler. We are currently feeling like the single digits outside because those winds are still elevated. We will have a look at what you can expect for the windy weather coming up in your full First Alert forecast.
All right, well, after those windy conditions, we are still seeing some scattered pockets of outages in the thumb. DTE Energy says some of these outages could be restored later tonight. Consumers Energy is still reporting more than 900 outages across Michigan, leaving more than 30,000 people in the dark. Most of the local outages are still in the Clare area. Consumers Energy says crews from Maryland, Alabama, Texas, and Canada are helping local crews turn the lights back on in all those homes and businesses. The company projects to have all customers in the hardest hit areas have power back on by the end of the day tomorrow. And that fast-moving winter system is complicating holiday travel across mid-Michigan, and it really disrupted Detroit Metro Airport yesterday, delaying and canceling a lot of flights. Now, that system moved through the state, bringing high winds and snow squalls. At MBS Airport in Freeland, travelers were keeping a close eye on those flight boards as wind gusts topped 50 miles per hour, triggering those weather advisories across the state.
You really never know what the weather's going to be when you come to Michigan, so you just kind of have to be prepared for delays and little spooky moments.
Now, snow squalls brought whiteout conditions across mid-Michigan, also impacting road travel. The same winds caused those flight disruptions, knocking out power for thousands of people across Michigan, homes and businesses. Really just a reminder of how widespread this system has been. Police in Flint Township say trash is partly to blame for flooding that shut down part of I-75 during heavy rains. Both directions between Corunna and Miller Roads were temporarily closed on Sunday. Police say drains and pumps were clogged by all sorts of items. Officers had to dig them out of the water to get it clear. Now, they found car parts, trash, and leaves. Both lanes reopened shortly after 7 Sunday night. In a developing story out of Huron County, 2 people who planned to go ice fishing had to be rescued after they drove into open water on a snowmobile. The sheriff's office says the 2 went in Sunday morning about a mile offshore of Mud Creek in McKinley Township. Other people who were fishing were able to pull the 2 from the icy water before first responders arrived. The sheriff's office says the snowmobile is at the bottom of the bay in about 6 feet of water. It's also asking people to stay off the ice as it's been deteriorating over the past several days. In continuing coverage, investigators in Huron County are asking the community to help them close a cold case murder from 5 years ago. The victim, 59-year-old Ricky Bailey. They say the night of December 30th, 2020, 2 masked men broke into Bailey's home on Rapson Road near Sullivan Road, northeast of Bad Axe. His sons were home at the time and said the men made references to wanting money, then shot him to death. An interesting aspect to the case is that the gun ended up in the possession of Chicago police, even though it was purchased in Huron County. Its original owner told investigators he had sold the gun but didn't know to whom. Investigators say there's no record of a transaction. Meanwhile, the family and friends of Bailey have pledged a reward of $9,500 for information leading to a felony arrest. More local news now in Genesee County. Swartz Creek Community Schools is announcing the hiring of an interim superintendent to take the place of the interim superintendent who resigned earlier this month. The Board of Education says Wayne Wright will take office this Thursday, maintaining operations as the district looks for a permanent leader. Wright takes the place of Jim Kitchen, who assumed the interim role back in June. Wright's the former superintendent in Goodrich and also served as interim superintendent in New Lothrop. We are warning you about a scam alert from the Wildfire Credit Union. It says some of its customers are receiving calls that appear to come from the credit union's official number, but they are not. Now, Wildfire says it will never call and ask for personal information or passcodes. If you receive a suspicious call, you should hang up and notify the credit union. All right, the Christmas season is all but wrapped up, and a lot of people still have a real tree they need to dispose of. Tree farmers have some tips to help you and also some alternatives to consider if you want to help nature. They suggest setting the tree outside until spring to help coverage for birds. You could also donate it to a goat farm as a treat. If you're simply disposing it, you can cut up the limbs off the stem inside to help you get it outside of your home and also help you cut down on the mess. Farmers also suggest having an organization pick it up, or you could even use a wood chipper once outside.
If you chip the tree and you put that back into Mother Earth, then it naturally disposes of itself because it's a wood product and it eventually will rot up and go back into the ground.
Farmers also recommend to avoid burning the tree if you can. All right, you are joining us live for TV5 Morning Extra. Still ahead, a pivotal moment in the labor movement in the U.S. taking place right here in mid-Michigan. A look back at this important day in history. And if you missed a story, hey, catch up on our YouTube channel for the latest updates. You can also like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We'll always keep you in the know. Diane is in for Matthew with a check of your first alert forecast. The wind, the cold, all of that coming up.
The winds have settled down from yesterday, but we are still finding those elevated wind speeds. Gusts today are still going to be something to note, as we are finding those still to be around 25 to 30 miles per hour. We can see a little bit of a dip here as we reach daybreak and sunrise, but then as we head into the afternoon, we kind of pick right back up with 25 to 30 mile per hour winds out of the west-northwest. We will see those higher speeds closer towards the thumb. Good news is during the evening, our winds do start to settle down a little bit. We'll be finding some of those max wind speeds around 15 miles per hour, and that is how we are going to head into Wednesday morning. But it doesn't last all day long. We are going to be finding as we wrap up 2025 that the winds are going to kind of blow us into the new year, because we are going to be seeing those gusts getting back up towards 25, 30 miles per hour. So if you have some plans to wrap up the year, you are going to be working with a little bit of wind to get through it. Our wind chills today, we've been seeing those this morning into the single digits. We'll stay there even as we go into the early afternoon, but we do start to head into those lower teens, just breaking into the double digits towards the middle of the afternoon and going into the evening. Our pinpoint Doppler showing some snow showers that we have, and even some banding coming here along I-75 into Roscommon and Ogama counties. Then we have a little bit of a void here from the thumb through Saginaw Bay and then further west along US 10. But then we do start to pick up some snow showers a little bit closer towards M57. And then we see a little bit of blue returning on that Detroit radar. So if you're in Genesee County this morning, planning on seeing a couple of flurries kind of going here and there, a couple of breaks because it is scattered. The hour-by-hour forecast is just going to keep a couple couple of flurries in play for us today, but we will find after the evening commute and even after the dinner time frame, closer towards 8, 9 o'clock, we do have some snow. This is going to develop off a little push of energy that comes in. So here into the thumb along I-69 and then coming just up into the Great Lakes Bay region is where we're going to be seeing the better chance of some snow. We have a little bit of a void here north of US 10, so we will be tracking those snowy conditions through the evening, going even around midnight before we do have that push that kind of finally exits, but it does open us up for more lake effect going into Wednesday. So scattered snow showers are going to be possible through the day. We will find those even as we go into Wednesday evening. When you look at our snow totals for the rest of today going into tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at where we had kind of that void trace amounts of snow, but here into the thumb and along I-69, we're going to be tracking about 1 inch to 2 inches to be possible. For your New Year's Eve plans, if you're going to be going to a party, 7 o'clock, we'll be right at 20 degrees. Then we fall into the teens. We hope to have that forecast a little bit drier and less lake effect. But at least going into the new year, we are going to be finding that we do have dry weather, and then temperatures a little bit cooler. We have 18 for Thursday, and then we have 20s for the rest of the weekend. Great weather for holiday travel, but we do have some snow showers coming in on next Monday.
All right, a look back at this day in history as we count down to America's 250th birthday. On this date in 1936, workers at the Flint GM plant locked themselves inside and stopped working. The employees were taking part in the so-called sit-down strike, demanding fair wages and safe working conditions. The strike ended in February of 1937 after General Motors signed a contract with the United Auto Workers Union. In more local news now, the Mid-Michigan Children's Museum in Saginaw is inviting you to its annual New Year's Eve countdown blast. The party tomorrow on West Genesee Avenue will have themed crafts and include all sorts of activities and more, and it runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is $3 per person. The Flint Firebirds are partnering with the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan for multiple food drives next month. At the upcoming home games on Saturday and January 10th, the Firebirds are asking you to donate non-perishable food items. You can bring 5 of those and get a free ticket to the game. All donations will be sent to food bank partner agencies in Genesee County, rather. All right, hard to believe the New Year is almost here.
Yes, and we have kind of a snowy finale to wrap up this year. When we check that 7-day forecast one last time, we are going to be finding we have those snow showers here for this evening, going in still around midnight tonight, and then lake effect snow showers for New Year's Eve. But as we get into the holiday itself, January 1, we are going to be finding that we have dry weather. It will be chilly with highs only around 18 degrees, but we don't have a lot of weather to mention going into the weekend. So if you're traveling, maybe picking up on some holiday gatherings, no issues to get to your destinations. We'll be a little bit cooler with temperatures that'll be into the 20s for highs. But then Monday, when everybody's back to work and school, we are tracking a hint of some snow showers. So make sure you keep an eye on that 7-day forecast.
All right. And also that app, always very useful and helpful. Just search for WNEM in the App Store or on Google Play. Thanks so much for joining us for this live edition of Morning Extra. We will see you right back here for TV5 News at 9.